Welcome to my TBR jar picks, my reads for February. February is always a month that I'm looking forward to because not only is it Valentine's season, but it's my boyfriend and I's anniversary, it's my baby brother's birthday. So many exciting things to look forward to in February, so I am extra excited to pick out books to read next month. I also have added a ton of books onto my cart here, as well as a ton of new prompts to add. I was feeling a little bored of the prompts that I had, and so I ended up adding probably 15 or more new prompts in my jar here, and I specifically picked out ones that are unique or a little bit more fun, or honestly ones that I just have never done before. Also, for the 4 books that I picked out last month, I'm gonna put on the screen the ones that I have read and haven't read. Considering how much time I have left in the month while I'm filming this, I think I'll be able to do 4 out of 4, but I do every month, so let's see what happens. I'm also going to be picking out 4 prompts as usual. Now for the very first prompt. Horror book. I wrote that prompt with having these books in mind because these are books that I've received from Evernight, which is a quarterly horror subscription box. So I got this book back in November and I have not read it, and I just received this book in January. Honestly, between the two, I'm leaning more towards We Call Them Witches, just because I love watching horror movies where a huge plot of the story is about witches. I just think it's so creepy. I believe they're both based in a world of like post-apocalyptic, but this one with post-apocalyptic and witches, it sounds super creepy. It says most people have been devoured by the eldritch creatures. Yeah, this is a horror book, all right. It says Sarah and her family have been fighting for survival, and the only thing that works against these monsters, these witches, is their knowledge of folklore and pagan rituals. A disaster strikes and the main character's younger brother Noah is actually snatched by the witches. She is determined to save her younger brother, and so she ends up going on this journey, and that's where the book takes off. How creepy does that sound? We're going to pick this one. And also, I forgot to say, the author is India Rose Bowen. Now, as to my second prompt, I'm getting so lucky. A 5-star prediction. My first one that I'm thinking is possibly dark matter. I'm not very like strong in the feeling for that one though, if that makes sense. The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, Sunrise on the Reaping, the whole Harry Potter, the entire Hunger Games world. Definitely see a 5-star there. I'm also wondering Remarkably Bright Creatures, Done and Dusted, possibly. I'm also thinking Part of Your World. I love this because there's just so many options. Also, The Dead Romantics, but I'm leaning towards more Part of Your World and like The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, but because I'm currently reading Mockingjay, I want to just give a little bit of time in between just to like soak in the world because I don't want it to be over yet. So let's go with this one. We're gonna go with Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. In all honesty, I am sick of having this book on my physical TBR because the amount of times I've put it on my immediate TBR for videos or like just because in general. I had it on my 2025 TBR and it was, I think out of like the 10 that I put on the list, it was one of the 2 that I didn't get to. I put it on my Valentine's TBR, my spring TBR. I'm not even kidding. I've had this book up there on like, this is the next book I'm going to read, and I just keep putting her to the side, and it's just not right at this point. It just feels wrong. I also, because of Valentine's next month, a good old 5-star prediction romance sounds perfect for the Valentine's season. After a wild bet, gourmet grilled cheese sandwich, and a cuddle with the baby goat. I love books where they have animals, specifically like baby animals. I think it's adorable. It says Alexis Montgomery has had her world turned upside down. The cause, Daniel Grant, who is actually 10 years younger than her and as casual as they come, the complete opposite of sophisticated city girl Alexis, and yet their chemistry is undeniable. Definitely one of the main reasons why I think it's going to be a 5-star read is because of how popular Abby Jimenez is in the book community. A lot of people love her books, and I feel like with the books that I have picked up that social media has hyped up, I end up really enjoying as well. So I feel like it's going to be the same with this one. To be honest, I am a little nervous because, like, what if I don't love it? It just is such a shitty feeling to be really excited for an author and then actually not end up liking their writing. But there is always a chance that you may not like a book. Now for my third prompt, a book published in my B-Day month. Okay, so I have to pick out a book that was published in September. The first thing is I'm gonna pick out books that I am the most excited to read, and I'll see if those land in September. Okay, let's try Hopeless. Dark Matter as well, I have been really excited to read, and this is a book that I just bought, so I want to make sure that I read it relatively soon. I'm also gonna check Any Trope But You because the cover and the entire book is based around the snowy season, and I want to read this before winter ends. This one's also one I really want to read. Okay, let's see. This book was published in May. This is April, July, October. So close. So close, but not September. September is The Martian by Andy Weir. This is a sci-fi book, and the reason that I picked this book up is because I love the movie. Our main character gets abandoned on Mars. His entire crew is doing research on Mars, and there ends up being a huge storm, and in the midst of them trying to get back on their spaceship, he ends up getting basically like blown away because there's a huge storm, and the team ends up making a hard decision of leaving without him. And so the entire story is of this main character learning and figuring out how to survive on another planet. The movie is incredible. I've watched it so many times, and naturally, since I love to read, I was like, I need to read the book, especially after reading Project Hail Mary by the same author. Since I had such a good experience with that book, I knew that I was going to have a good experience with this one. I mean, at least I hope. I'm just so fascinated with space in general, so reading a book about it, I'm gonna have a lot of fun. Now on to my last and final prompt. A book with magic. V.E. Schwab, The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I have DNF'd that book, and I am planning on picking it up, but my mind is telling me no, not right now. Remarkably Bright Creatures. It's about an octopus who talks. So magical realism? That could work. Once Upon a Broken Heart? I don't know if I'm ready for that. The Dead Romantics? Magical realism. Do I want to go the fantasy route, which could be The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, Once Upon a Broken Heart, The Cruel Prince, or do I want to go more of like the subtle magical realism, which is Remarkably Bright Creatures, The Dead Romantics, Under the Whispering Door, things like that. Pick number 3, my lord. I don't know which one to pick. Considering that I already have sci-fi and horror, I think I should pick something that's a little more easier for the month instead of going with like a high fantasy. That's just what I'm feeling right now. We can do Remarkably Bright Creatures or The Dead Romantics. I'm not feeling Under the Whispering Door as much right now. I feel like there's magic in this book because the octopus can talk. If you're telling me no, girl, that's not how it works, I'm sorry. Which one should I do? This is the part where I just cut out in my videos where I'm just silent. Just like, which book do I read? I feel my heart leaning towards more this one, which is surprising because I have some pretty high expectations for this one, considering that I loved The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. Oh, this book is gonna mess me up. Okay, this book is considered a magical realism read. So perfect, it fits for the prompt. Our main character, Tova, civilian, ends up losing her husband. So she ends up picking up a job where she works the night shift at a aquarium. Her son also is gone. This poor woman. It says that she loves to keep busy because it helps her cope. And she's been doing it ever since her 18-year-old son mysteriously vanishes on a boat in Puget Sound over 30 years ago. This poor woman loses her husband and her son. It says Tova becomes acquainted with Marcellus, a brilliant giant Pacific octopus living at the aquarium. I have a good, strong feeling that this book is going to be extremely wholesome, and that sounds wonderful. I love the edges of this book as well. Yay, I'm glad I picked this book up. Don't worry, baby. I'll come back for you. That concludes today's video. Now for a quick recap. For a horror, We Call Them Witches by India Rose Bowen. A 5-star prediction, Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. For a book published in my birthday month, The Martian by Andy Weir. And last but not least, A Book with Magic, Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt. This has to be one of the best stacks of books because of the range of genres. We have horror, romance, sci-fi, general fiction, magical realism. This is a really good stack. That is going to be it for today's video. Thank you so very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.